256.010, runway 1 right, cleared for takeoff.
1 right, clear to go, yeah, 256.
Cleared 4461, run right, left and white.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the second year of FlightCast. If you've been with us at any point during the past year, you'll know that this little podcast pays tribute to the not-so-little mobile flight simulator, Infinite Flight. If you're just stumbling in here for the first time, welcome, enjoy the show, and please head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Infinite Flight if you haven't already. With me today in the FlightCast virtual studio is Mr. Mark Skyhawk Heavy Denton. Hey, Mark.
Hey.
And joining us for this episode are FlightCast regulars, Infinite Flight ATC moderator Tyler Shelton, and ATC moderator Joe Riley. What's up, guys?
Hey. Yo.
Guys, before we introduce our very special guest today, let's get some business out of the way. I'm excited to announce the launch of our brand new FlightCast website, which will have launched as you guys are listening. So you can check out the new website at flightcast.audio if you're not already there, and listen to episodes and check out some of the new profiles for these guys that are here with me today. So guys, you've seen the new website. Does it meet your standards of excellence so far?
Yeah, I think it looks great. It looks real good.
Joe?
If I can find a picture of me not holding a beer or a baby, we'll be good to go.
Or with goat.
Yeah, that was the hardest part.
Yeah.
That would be ideal if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for being here. I was initially going to just do this episode as, hey, we've been here 1 year, let's chat for a little while, and but with the release of the new update that kind of took me by surprise a few weeks ago, I thought, let's see if we can get somebody from FDS here. So we've got Philippe kind of standing by, and we're going to have a little chat with him at some point soon.
He can wait until Mark's done with his questions.
Yeah, which I actually have a couple, surprisingly.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, well, Jay, just what actually led you to start FlightCast over a year ago?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think as many content creators will tell you, there seemed to be an audience for it, and that's what you want as a content creator, is to be in front of an audience and have something to say to somebody who will care. So, we had IFFG really was the thing that made me realize, oh man, there's literally tens of thousands of people who have an interest in this, and then as the forum grew and kept growing, then it was obvious that, people were interested in hearing something. And I'm a creative person, I'm a musician and a web developer, and I need an outlet for that. So I'm not the type of person that just kind of is your average participator. So yeah, I would say that that's probably what led me to start something, and I'm a big fan of listening to podcasts, so it seemed natural.
So it was created as a result of your creative ADD.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
He was bored.
He was bored.
Yeah.
So how do you keep coming up with the ideas or the topics, guests, and so on? I mean, where do you come up with all this stuff at?
Yeah, well, at first that was a pretty big concern. I thought, well, you know what, we'll do an episode every 2 weeks, and we'll just find out when we run out of content. And luckily, the guys at Flying Development Studio don't stop working tirelessly and expanding their empire and making things bigger. So there's always something to talk about, it seems like. But at first, some people came out of the woodwork and they came to me. I went looking for people. I started talking to some of the pilots and air traffic controllers that we had kind of on Facebook that were chatting with us, and on Slack and things like that. We had pilots and ATC joining the IFATC crew, so those guys were easy to, bring on board on the podcast. And then I think at some point, with the three of us, and especially Mark, we started just chatting, and those episodes actually tend to have a higher listenership when we just chat and be ridiculous. So, it's still somewhat of a stressor, but at the end of the day, when I think, oh, who are we going to book next? They're always seems to be somebody. And actually, I've
You
been
have me and Tyler and Mark on.
that's what
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to have any shame in admitting that if I run out of ideas, I call you guys. Because
Well, there's always the Christmas special that we know we're going to have every year.
yes.
Hopefully, Joe's working on a new poem as we speak.
I need to remember the old one. We need to dust that one
We'll
off.
do a little refresher as Christmas gets closer, but
Yep.
I'm not ready to think about Christmas yet. We've still got some warm weather around here, even
and
even up
possibly
here in
a
Canada.
September episode coming up.
Yes,
That might be a good one.
You know what? Let's just good call, Tyler. Let's just talk about that a little bit. Unfortunately, and this is the super sad, pouty face emoji. Joe can't be there with us in the fall, but some of us we'll maybe Skype you in, Joe.
Yeah.
If you're not
I'll
holding a new baby.
Be up for that. Yeah.
Joe's family is growing, and he's not going to be able to join us. But some of us are heading to a undisclosed location. Yeah, in America, and we're gonna get together with a group of us. Hopefully, Laura's coming. We've got Steven Wilson, who Steven's been like I got to give a shout out to him because he's a huge behind the scenes FlightCast supporter. Couldn't do the show without Steven's support. And
He's been around since day one too. Probably one of the most loyal people I know to Infinite Flight. Since when I first started playing, he was probably one of the first people I met on IFFG.
Oh, nice! I didn't actually know that.
Yeah,
very cool. And
He's-
Tyler,
he's been around forever.
You and your wife have hung out with Steven and his family already, right?
Yeah, we met last year at a, I guess, kind of like a, what is it? Like an air show.
It was an air show.
Yeah. So we met up last year, and his family is really nice. So we're looking forward to hanging out again.
Yeah, nice. So
As a
Steven
matter
will
of
be
fact,
there.
that was the weekend you took that picture in the T-34, right?
It was lots of warbirds around.
And to see that picture, head over to flightcast.audio and go to the Your Hosts tab on the menu.
Yeah.
It's
I
right
like how I
above
did
the
that.
it's right above the goat picture.
Right beside, actually. And Steven is also many of our IFATC controller group have had Steven flying around incognito, and they didn't know it. Steven was part of our quality assurance group that used to always fly around. And so, big part of our group there. We're hopefully going to hang out with Mr. Jared Hodge while we're there, and Mr. Skyhawk Heavy, of course, and Tyler, and I think your wife's coming.
Possibly
Tyler.
Melvin.
Yeah,
Who
Melvin's
else
going to
lives
be there.
down there.
Yes, I just heard that the other day. Melvin is trying to make it. It's going to be great. I'm excited. As Tyler
It'll be a
once said,
fun event.
we're going to be the strangest group of friends hanging out.
Yeah,
You
should
guys-
be
I don't
fun.
know if you can. I don't know if you're fast enough to be able to have the bleep button ready for a live podcast, but it should be fun.
It's not going to be a live podcast. I think what we might do is we'll set up we'll set up a live Facebook feed. Actually, so that would be live. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about that.
Do it early in the trip before Mark gets drunk.
Yeah. Before Mark has his
Man, I'll be-
transfusion.
Fresh out of the
I'll-
car, just put the mic in front of his face and say, "Let's get this over with."
Yeah.
I'll
You're a
have
bit
I'll
tired.
go ahead and have the IV on the trip up there.
Oh, great.
So the transfusion should be steadily going by the time I get there.
Well, that's legal in the South anyway, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You can have open containers and IVs.
Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Officer, I'm too drunk. You're gonna have to get in. Let me move these beer bottles for you.
Joe's drunk right now.
You know, so
What's
What,
the officer problem?
Monday afternoon.
Yeah. And actually, just to finish off this train of thought, guys, on the last question, coming up with podcast guests this fall, we're going to start into some. I'm hoping I've already got one on the calendar, is to get into some guests that may even not have anything to do with Infinite Flight at all, except that maybe they've just tried it. Sort of like the Steve Thorne vibe from Flight Chops, where it's like, hey, we have a chance to interview someone who's a part of the aviation community is awesome and creates amazing content, and we'd love to chat with them. And by the way, if they're able to give Infinite Flight a try, awesome. And so I think that's just a kind of a win-win. We get to talk to someone who's doing something great in aviation, and maybe they get to give Infinite Flight a little plug, So
that's the best way we can improve too.
Yeah.
So
because they're going to share it on. Go ahead.
I said that's the best way we can improve too, because I just had a supervisor of mine that works with me at the tower. He's been controlling for 15 years, so he just gave Infinite Flight a try. So watching him struggle through some of the issues that maybe makes Infinite Flight not as user friendly as it can be for a brand new controller that's finding their way around the system. So it helped me take some notes and stuff like that. So having new people fly or control really helps us create a better product much faster.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I had a similar situation. I was telling Tyler about it Friday when I took my MacBook up to the computer store to upgrade my RAM from 4 to 8, only to leave with 2 gig of RAM.
I didn't know Cam worked in Alabama.
While I was there, talking with the guys and everything, they asked what I did, and I told them about Infinite Flight and showed them the app. And one of the guys actually downloaded it right then. Nice. And, he's a huge aviation enthusiast. He's wanting to get his pilot's license and all that. And so I was telling him about the different live subscriptions, and he said he was going to go ahead that night and download Live Plus because of the better deal. So that turned out to be pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. I was doing some plane spotting yesterday at, excuse me. Well, for listeners who are hearing this on Wednesday, this was on Sunday at Pearson International in Toronto. And when I got home, I got an email from Damien, who's a forum member, and he said, "Hey, I was right there beside you." I was like, "Why didn't you say hello?" But he wasn't sure that it was actually me until I posted on Instagram. So I'm gonna maybe let people know ahead of time next time, because we have an IFATC member who's is it Bob? There's somebody who's lives right around the corner. He's near Pearson anyway. So yeah, I might announce early next time, have a little meetup. All kinds of cool stuff happens when you.
I probably won't be able to make that one either.
Yeah.
But Joe, you are planning on coming, was it this summer at some point, to Toronto for a bachelor thing?
Yeah.
That not happen?
Still, no, TBA.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm a last minute type of person.
He's still trying to get it cleared to where he can leave the country.
Right. Yeah.
Got a couple warrants to take care of first.
Yeah. Well, you let me know, and I'll come over there and give you a hug.
All right, man.
Okay. So, Mark, why don't you give us a little Infinite Flight pilot community update?
Well, before I do that, I have one last question.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is probably the most important question of all, but...
Oh, great.
How has knowing Joe, Tyler, and myself, how has it simply enriched your life and made you the person that you are today?
In so many ways.
Think carefully.
I've learned new words. I've further I've solidified my views as a pacifist, and but on a serious note, these are some friendships that I didn't expect to have, a year and a half to 2 years ago. So it's awesome. It has enriched my life, to be honest. And like Mark said a couple months ago, he said, it's weird when I've never had virtual relationships before. I haven't done online dating. I'm not a gamer. And I've had friends who, my buddy Ian was almost in somebody's wedding, and he had never met him, but they were great friends because of an online community. And I thought that was weird, and I don't think that's weird anymore, because you develop great friendships with people, and yeah, we just have a lot of this one huge thing in common, which is fantastic. And I know there's a lot of people in our community who can also say that. So thanks,
So
guys.
do you
Absolutely.
find yourself using dumb more?
Yes. There's no question.
Can you now identify a wide variety of guns?
I can. I know the difference in some cases between a regular rifle and an assault rifle.
Actually, they're not assault rifles. AR. Let me just go ahead and give you a little.
Oh boy!
No,
Oh, come
no,
on.
you know what?
Let me-
I'm gonna
AR
does
does
look at the
not
time.
stand for assault rifle.
Look at
it
the
stands
time.
for Armalite, who was the first manufacturer of the AR.
We're gonna
So-
lose Philippe.
I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
When-
moving along.
When we're hanging out next month, I'll be stepping out onto the patio when you guys start talking politics or ammunition.
Or
Armaments.
Yes.
showing.
Mark told me to bring my new build, and I said no because Jason's gonna go back home. And I don't want
No,
that.
you know what? Listen, I've been to the shooting range. It's a ton of fun. And I love you guys in spite of it.
Weren't you protesting at the shooting range?
No, I was having fun shooting
He's
weapons.
not that stupid. He's not going to protest.
No. So Mark, pilot community update. Let's do it.
Basically, I'm going to be, posting a tutorial today. Now, probably for the next little bit, I'm going to have to slow down or back off with the video tutorials. So I'm going to have to be using like the infographics that I've used in the past, just simply because of the issues I'm having with my MacBook, where, as Tyler said, he was able to record and edit 3 videos in 30 minutes today, where one video would take me 30 days, or the 3 videos would take me 30 days. So until I'm able to figure something out with my MacBook and get it back up and running like it should, still going to be doing tutorials every week, but, they're going to be more infographics instead of videos. But I'm working on posting one now, just talking about cruising altitudes, something, Jason, that I think you might benefit from when filing your flight plan.
It's true.
So-
I'm not going to deny it. Yeah.
We always run it by Mark. Hey, is this altitude okay?
Yeah,
Oh
hey.
no, the other one. Okay, cool.
You guys want to
Oh,
fly?
yeah.
Mark, what altitude?
Joe yesterday did that. I think it was yesterday or the day before. He's like, Mark, let's fly in London. That's where ATC is. All right, where do I spawn and what are we flying in? I just come up with the idea. Your job is to file the flight plan and tell me where to go.
I'm the idea person. You're the execution person.
Yeah.
The execution.
Where do you want to fly? I want to fly interregion with a plane, dumbass. Now you do the rest.
That's what you said in our very first interview, Joe. When I asked what your background in aviation was, you said, I flew in a plane once.
Yeah.
He gets so
And
technical.
Tyler's made the flight plan if we're at 55,000 feet. And,
Yeah.
172.
I was an astronaut in my past life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tyler and Joe, what's up in the IFATC world lately? Seems like we've been having a push, a good push through adding people, new ATC recruits lately. So what's going on? What do you guys attribute that to?
I think with this last update, this was probably the most ATC features that we received in one update. Usually it's like 1 or 2 things that'll just maybe fix an issue, but not really add new stuff. So I think the program and controlling on Infinite Flight is becoming more user-friendly, which is attracting more people. Over the last 2 weeks, we've added 2 to 3 new users every single day, that's probably the most I've seen. We've always been steady, every week, but not 2 to 3 a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so with adding like holding patterns and relocating the sequencing command, one of the biggest ones being able to actually remove the flight progress strip from your bay, so that if you tell an aircraft frequency change approved, you can just get rid of their strip instead of expecting them to switch.
Yeah.
And I'm actually working on a tutorial right now for that.
Awesome. I think too there's just been this is the most number of users on live that I've ever seen on a regular basis. It's bananas.
The increase
unreal.
in traffic, I think, has brought a lot more attention to ATC as well.
Yeah.
It's just been, you posted the op numbers today, and it's insane the amount of ops people are getting in a week.
Yeah,
And it's just
almost
because
9,000.
of traffic, yeah.
Yeah. Who was at the top of the list today? I can't remember. Was it
Mert?
Mert?
Mert was number
Cup.
one
Solo
with Solo Cup with 8,667 ops in 1
7
week,
days.
and that's that's 55 hours and 62 sessions.
55 hours. That's more than a full-time job.
That's bananas.
Dude. We got to have that guy on. We should have a all-star lineup with Tom, Mert, G-Bach, and, the regular top 5 guys. Although that
and
might
just as
include
a
Josh.
quick little more to come kind of thing, there has been talks about working on some sort of incentive program. I mean, these controllers are putting in countless hours, 55 hours in a week. That's more than I actually control at work. So we're working on ways to kind of reward those kind of high numbers and a little more status all around. So I'll leave it at that, and there'll be more to come.
I mean, you've got the guy in second who had 85 hours. I mean, that's the amount of hours on these top, 10 people is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's insane the amount of time people are putting in.
Yeah, and our very own Joe Riley, 3,600 operations in hours.
What?
Yeah.
How's your wife feel about
whenever
that?
that's because every instruction he sends 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't do radar vectors because you don't get off of that. So everybody's an ILS, even if I have to give it to them right before I clear them. So,
There you go.
What we do.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right, let's introduce our guest this week. He's no stranger to FlightCast, with this being his 3rd time joining us. Along with Laura and a team of others, Philippe Rollin is responsible for all of us being here and having this great thing in common. As a developer of Infinite Flight and co-founder of Flying Development Studio, he works to bring us the best in mobile flight simulation. Philippe, welcome back to the show, and thanks so much for being here with us again.
You're very welcome, Jason.
First of all, congratulations on the new update, which of course includes the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Why don't you give us your thoughts on how this update went?
Well, it was a pretty big update, as most of you seen. It's a really good update. I think most people, as usual, there is always people they're not gonna be happy with certain things, but most people, I think, were pretty ecstatic about the this new aircraft and all the new features that we brought with that aircraft. Yeah. It really shows that we're going in the right direction, and that we're doing what we always say that we want to do, is just improve, iterate with each new update and each new aircraft that we release.
Okay, yeah, great. So looking back on this update then, what would you say is your favorite aspect of it, and what do you think maybe could have gone smoother, if anything?
Well, it's hard to see what can go smoother. I guess, we can always say that we wish that we could make those aircraft faster. I think the hardest thing is to decide when something is good enough.
Right.
We can't just go down the rabbit hole every time and try to solve every single issue, every single little problems that people notice at some point. We try to. We have to cut some corners at some point to get it in the hands of people as soon as possible, but while at the same time trying to have the best quality and showing an advancement in the quality every time. And hopefully down the road we will get to a level where it will be really, really hard to nitpick on things. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say on that.
And so for this update, how do you think the Dreamliner turned out?
Great. It was a lot of work. It's actually the first time that we actually now have 2 artists that work on the aircraft to make it. To one that's working on the cockpit and one who's working on the outside. I guess they work together also for the final touches, but that allow us to push the quality a little bit more while maintaining or the speed of our updates, and eventually at some point also making it faster.
Yeah. Okay. So Philippe, you guys are just constantly bombarded with feature requests. And, even when this update was released, with many of those feature requests included, like wing flex has been something people have been asking for since the start. So you've addressed this before on the show, but just as an update, what is the best way for people to have their say when it comes to feature requests or ideas that they have?
Usually the forum. We still have our feature voting thing on user voice. This is the thing that we've had for a long time. We still check on there from time to time, but we're really switching to a forum-centric community. So if you have questions, if you have issues, this is the best way, because we have such a great group of people that will be able to answer you most of the time faster than we can, and they will be able to communicate to us when there are issues that they can't answer. So I would, or an answer about a feature that they don't really know about. This is important. There's already most of the information. I would say easily 90% of the questions that people have can be answered by using the search bar in the forum. This is most question has been answered on features and when it's coming, and usually the answer is soon or later. But any feature that has been requested is something that we thought about, and we're just trying, like I said earlier, to prioritize and to make things as fast as possible, but at the same time trying to release.
Yeah, and with the forum, actually, I just want to give a quick shout out to Henrik Berg, who's been on the podcast before as part of the airport editing episode. He's one of the newest moderators on the forum. So congrats to Henrik. These guys put in, as we know from last episode, just a tremendous amount of time making sure that this huge group of people is moderated. And man, the forum is, and Philippe, as you know, I've struggled with the idea of the forum because it seems at first glance like, wow, if I make a post on here, it's just an unmitigated disaster of conversation. And how in the world would my voice ever be heard? But I have to say, I agree. The best place is to just make a post on the forum, find out if there's already a post for that topic, and use the like button, because so many things for features are looked at in terms of, okay, how many times has this actually been requested? And lo and behold, we have something like WingFlex showing up. We have a lot of libraries that have been requested now.
Yeah,
but
WingFlex was one of the big one.
Yeah, well, and so let's ask about gear tilt. That's something that people immediately, once they see WingFlex, are saying, well, where in the world is the gear tilt? We've been asking for that forever. So why don't you just speak to that now?
Well, that's going to be the same answer that we often say is soon. That's something that obviously is part of a simulator. This is something to improve the simulation for the experience. So it's obviously something we want. We do have other priorities at some point, but sometimes those, WingFlex this time around was actually added pretty quickly. Once we figure out the issue and how to do it right, or what's the good enough thing that we can do quickly that will give us the result. And actually WingFlex was one of those where we thought about, okay, we actually should do this way, but this will require so much more development, or because it's not supported by the tools that we use. And then we thought about another way to do it that is that's the result that you got, and that was actually a lot easier, and that's why you have it now.
Cool.
For gear tilt, well, it'll come when it'll come. It might be the same thing where we figure out a way to do it in a easier way, and because there's a lot of technical aspect with the wheels, because you have to handle like you have to really represent it in a physical way, and it's not as easy as you might think. I mean, we could figure out a way to do it just with animations, but we're not sure it's going to give the right feel.
Yeah.
When that happens.
I have a question about that. When I lower the landing gear on an aircraft, it seems like they sort of go to the position they're supposed to go, and then they flash a little bit, and it seems like they're locking into place or whatever it is. What's the technical reason for that?
It's like it's a legacy issue that it's the way we did it at the very beginning, and that's actually kind of why the gear tilt is not there at this point. It's two models basically. There's one model of the gears when the gears are coming up and down, and then it switches to a different model that will have the physical contact with the ground.
Okay.
It's one. Let's treat it as a bug. It's an issue. It's a bug that we haven't looked at yet. I mean, we looked at it. We just haven't decided to fix this, but we will at some point.
You guys heard it first on FlightCast. The words out of Philippe. That's good journalism right there, Philippe, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm
It
kidding.
is.
You guys, Philippe, you seem to be really the businessman on the team, or maybe you're not, but it seems to me that you are. You decision maker. So with so many possibilities on where a flight simulator should go, and so many opinions from people like staff, moderators, your annoying podcast host, beta testers, and users, what's the process for deciding which direction you guys take? Like, what does the big picture look like, and how do you kind of arrive there?
Well, I guess we identify that flight simulation. It's a community thing. People are so passionate in this field that we really want to bring all the people that share the same passion together. And this is why we focused on live. And we know that a lot of people want us to focus on, buildings and gear tilts and stuff like that. But we have to. We think that this is where the fun is in flight simulation. Is instead of just being behind your computer flying by yourself, it's important to have the community around you, people flying with you eventually, and also sharing stories. Sharing real life, aviation stories with people that think alike, and that this is why we focus on the forum. We brought up the forum and really spend quite some time on live. This is a big picture. It's a community-oriented flight simulator that will get more and more precise and accurate, but we want to do it as a community.
Cool. I'm assuming that as you add staff members, that you've got more voices in the mix. Is that something that you guys try and draw from? You've got Mark and Tyler that are immersed in the ATC and pilot communities, and then you've got these guys who are elusive that I can't seem to get on the podcast, who are kind of in the background doing the coding and the textures and stuff like that. How much do these opinions and thoughts play into the direction of the company?
Well, you would have to ask them, but I'd like to think that we try to be pretty transparent with our decisions. For example, the decision with the 787 release, there was some hard decision that we had to make about the pricing, and this is something that we talked about with the team, because me and Laura, we talk about those things all the time. We're running a business, and we're trying to have fun doing it, but sometimes we have to make the right choice, the right decision. The hard decision so our business grow, or at least is able to survive in a very, very volatile market and very competitive.
Philippe, this is something that I know that we've all talked about internally, but how do you think that FlightCast itself, since this is, in reference to the 1 year anniversary, the celebration of it, but how do you think that FlightCast has actually helped in with Infinite Flight? What do you think it brings to Infinite Flight from your perspective?
It's what I would point at for anybody who's trying to do any type of community thing with Infinite Flight. I'm always saying, do like FlightCast. Just look at what they do. What Jason does, and look at it. It's to us, it's kind of a beacon of the community. Very, very professional and very high quality. And this is really, it's humbling to have this kind of quality content, community generated content for our something that is our life basically. So that we can't be more happy with what FlightCast has brought us, and has been really instrumental in spreading the word and really giving a window into the development. Sometimes it's hard to see, really, to understand what happens when you just read a blog post, and it might be better. I'm pretty sure it's better to put a voice on a name and listen to the actual source of information.
Oh, well, we're happy to do it. It's awesome. Super fun.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome. And actually, let's give a shout out to another guy in the community who puts a tremendous amount of time and effort into Infinite Flight, and that's Cam. Cameron built Live Flight app, which is liveflightapp.com. And actually, let's just take a quick break and hear about that right now. Mark, have you heard of Live Flight for Infinite Flight?
Yeah, man. I've used it to track flights and to see which regions and airports are busy before, planning my flight.
Right. Well, as you probably know, a new version of Live Flight is now available at liveflightapp.com. This new version is better than ever and has been rebuilt from the ground up. With the new design, more flight stats, a search feature, and airport information, tracking and planning your flight is easier than ever.
Oh, man, I know. And now with the new downloadable KML files, you can download your flight data to any Earth browser, such as Google Earth. It's so cool.
Absolutely. And if that wasn't enough, you can now subscribe to Live Flight Horizon, a new service for only $1.99 a month that provides real-time, worldwide airport information such as weather, runway data, and charts. It also allows you to search for flights, active ATC frequencies, and airports. And as a Live Flight Horizon subscriber, you'll also get much longer online sessions, and you'll be helping Cam to keep developing and improving this great app.
So guys, make sure you head over to liveflightapp.com to give it a try, and also subscribe to Live Flight Horizon. It will make your Infinite Flight experience so much better.
And now back to the podcast. Philippe, last time you and Laura, who, just for the sake of the podcast listeners, formerly known as Matt, were on the show, you hinted at a few things coming up, which you've also done on the forum. On April Fool's Day, you had a couple of screenshots that were amazing. Can you give us a sneak peek into anything that's coming up for Infinite Flight now that the update has just dropped for us?
Yeah, sure. now it's not really a secret anymore. We announced that this is something that we're working on global, and this is why what we'll all focus on as much as we can. There's no, we can't really talk about when the update containing global will come. It will come when it's ready. There might or might not be other update in between. If we realize, okay, it's taking longer than we anticipated, then we might drop a intermediary update that will contain more content. We have some stuff lined up, but yeah, it's not. We can't tell you when it's gonna come, simply because we don't know. But it's definitely something that we think it's the next step for Infinite Flight as a whole. to have everybody that being able to fly anywhere in the world.
So can you hint at any of this other stuff that's lined up? I know you want to. I know you want to.
More. I mean, a new aircraft.
Okay. We'll
Something.
take it.
So, let's say something that is okay, not an airliner.
Something perhaps with a prop or a what is it called?
Not a
ramjet
commercial
engine.
Not a commercial aircraft.
Okay.
Is it a blimp?
Actually, we should probably do that.
The Hindenburg.
Goodyear makes a good one.
Snoopy 1. Snoopy 2. Well, Philippe, let's get to some Facebook and forum questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
There were tons of them. So what I'd actually love to do, if you can spare a few extra minutes at some point in the coming week, is to just get some really quick questions and answers for the FlightCast blog, just so that our podcast doesn't go to 2 hours. But I've chosen a few guys that are still on the call. If you want to ask any other ones when we're done these 5, then please go to the forum or Facebook and pick your favorite. So I don't know how to say this properly, but forum user KeyDog3 maybe asks, how difficult was it to implement the WingFlex into the 787, and do you have future plans on rolling it out, WingFlex that is, to other aircraft?
So this is more a question to our artist and Laura as well. So our artist created the animations and rigged the model, and Laura did made it look good, basically. Tried to make it as realistic as possible. The technical part was not complicated. Like I said earlier, we figured out a way. It's a very straightforward way to do it. But I think the most important part is to get the feel right, to really make it feel like not too bendy or not enough. I think that's the part that really Laura iterated a lot on it.
That's true. She actually made an Instagram post at one point comparing one wing to the other, and one wing had the settings on it and one didn't, right?
Yeah, they're both independent, so they both can bend independently.
And they react differently to the turbulence than the frame of the aircraft does, right? So that's something that you guys had to take into account.
Yes, correct.
Cool. And there are other aircraft that have more wing flex than others. Is there a plan to is the technology there for you guys to easily implement that into, if you're doing an update on an aircraft?
So, yes, if we do an update on an aircraft, I think now the process of doing it is known, and we know it works. So if we redo an aircraft, of course, this is something that will, if the aircraft is adequate for this effect.
Okay.
But usually most of them are. But we often prefer focusing on new aircraft. But at the same, if there's one that come back, and at some point after, I think once our global update is out, we might look back at some older aircraft and redo those little parts.
Beauty.
So the 172 will get wing flex whenever that's redone.
That's what I hear him saying. Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only if Mark's flying.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
So Zachary Tish is asking, how long was the drone cam, or as we knew it before now, free flight cam, in debug mode for, and how challenging was it to get it fully working without any problems?
We've had the free cam. What we known internally as the free cam, and I think Mark told me, somebody suggested that it should be called a drone cam, and I think it fits better. The free cam is something we've had from the very beginning because it helps us. And when I say very beginning, since like 2011 or actually 2010 when we really started. It's something that helps us really debug and especially for the terrain, for example, to make sure that if you fly at somewhere in the terrain, everything is everything works properly. It really it's really something that you probably have in every single game as a debug thing to navigate around and make sure everything looks good from every angle. But as we saw like more and more people using Instagram or on Facebook trying to get nice shots, we realized that it was really important for people to have such an easy way to set up their shots and really control where they want to put their camera for landings, and to us it's one of those community oriented feature, so people can really have fun with Infinite Flight and make like really cool movies. I mean, we're already seeing like after like a few days after we released it, we've seen like those incredible movies with nice music and really well edited. That's really why we built this.
Yeah, cool. So
technically, the problem, I guess, to answer the second part really quickly, is technically it's to get it right on the to control it on a device. When we created it, it was on the PC, like on the PC version of Infinite Flight that we use for the everyday development. It's easy because we have a mouse and a keyboard, and it's basically the same control as any first-person shooter that anybody could use.
All right.
But it's to get it right and for people to really understand easily how to move the camera. And this is why, I mean, for people who don't know, there's a tutorial in the forum if you search for it. That's really well made by Mark.
Thanks to Mark. Yep. And also on the YouTube channel if you're a subscriber there. So everyone wants you to explain the helmet that you're wearing in your profile pic on the forum.
Oh yeah, I thought I already explained that one.
Oh, you might have.
It was so I live in San Francisco, California, and there's a NASA base, the Ames base in Mountain View, which is like about 30 minutes south of actually 40 minutes south of San Francisco. And they used to have something called Yuri's Night. Yuri's Night was to celebrate the anniversary of the first astronaut in space. And it was like one of those events where you can go on the base and there's a bunch of, space-related booth. You can actually climb into like an old rocket that I don't remember which one, but and see how it was inside. And basically found an helmet, put it on, took a pic, and that's the picture you have. All
right. So that's a genuine space helmet?
No, no. I think that was just a costume.
Okay.
It was. I doubt it was a real one.
So nothing Star Wars related then, to debunk all of those myths.
Nothing Star Wars related.
So Daniel's wondering, how hard was it to model and texture the 787? I think you've talked about this a little bit already, and I'm not even sure how much you're involved with this airplane, but perhaps you can give us just a really quick snippet of your involvement.
Yeah, so since the beginning, I've been involved with the technical aspect of like how should we, what technology should we use to improve the quality of our aircraft, and then we have a developer who's in charge of creating the shading of the aircraft, so everything that the lighting, how the lights, the shading works on the aircraft, the fact that if it's shiny or not. I'm trying to simplify a little bit. So I basically come in and try to figure out what's the best technology that will work on all the devices, and also. I spend a lot of time with our artist to to work with him to make sure that he creates this art so it works with those techniques. And this is something that we're constantly improving to try to increase the quality. The 787, for example, you saw that we made the texture bigger now. Actually, all the texture of all the planes are created the new planes since I think the 320 are created in really high resolution. The problem is we can't really load those on old devices,
right.
so we limit. And at some point, I mean, we'll raise the bar as more and more people upgrade the device. We'll just increase the default quality.
You just need to do what Microsoft does with Internet Explorer every once in a while and just stop supporting it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true, but at the same time, I mean, we have to be realistic with our audience, and we have a lot of people outside of the United States, and we know that in countries where iPhone is not the norm and the Android devices are a little bit different, they're often underpowered or very unbalanced. So they might have a great CPU, but the GPU is not, the graphics processing unit is not great. And they have like those insane screen resolution, which makes it really, really hard to find the sweet spot where it runs smoothly and it works with all the features that we have. So that's why we have all those settings where you can really choose what you want to enable or not based on what your device can do, because we can't plan for every single device out there. There's way too many, and some that we cannot even buy here in the States. Can you
release content on a minimum set of device criteria? Like if somebody's device, if they're trying to download a new airplane or something, can you serve up a different version of that airplane if their device meets certain criteria?
Well, we do it for just between iOS and Android. I mean, it's the same. I mean, we have different different packages because the textures are different formats.
Yeah. Okay.
So we could in theory, but we're not, because it's just more work.
It's a lot of work,
yeah. It's something we should probably do at some point because there's such a disparity with device. And iOS is this true because people tend to upgrade more often. On Android, there's just too many devices, and the update cycles are a lot longer than on iOS.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, do you have any more questions for Philippe before we wrap things up here?
Nope.
Okay.
I think he covered everything.
Yeah, agreed.
Very well.
Philippe, do you have anything else to add before we close things up today?
No, I mean, beside the usual, if you want to talk to us or interact, please go to the forum. We try to be there. I mean, I go there every day and look at the top post and try to respond where I can, when I have a quick answer that I can, a little bit of details that I can add to a topic, I will. I'm not going to answer all the private messages that I get, because if I don't answer, that means that the answer is really easily accessible. Like if you search, that's every feature request. Please do not send me or send Laura or anybody in the team directly. Just put it in the features. Other than that, please subscribe to our amazing YouTube channel. I mean, there's been a lot of work done by Mark and Tyler. It's really, really high quality. It's really good information. Just also, I mean, to learn how to use Infinite Flight and to get it from people that are pilots and an actual air traffic controller. There's a lot of good content to learn from those, good things to learn from those videos. So subscribe and like the videos and comment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Philippe Rollin, thank you so much for making time for us again today.
Thank you, Jason.
That was Infinite Flight developer and co-founder Philippe Rollin, and he joined me today on Skype from the Bay Area in San Francisco, California. Thanks as always for listening. If you haven't already, head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Infinite Flight. For more of the podcast, visit our website and be sure to subscribe on iTunes or YouTube. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/FlightCastAudio and on Twitter at FlightCastAudio. FlightCast is brought to you by Linkhouse Media on the web at linkhousemedia.com. We can always use your help to keep the podcast rolling, and a few ways you can do that are by clicking the donate button at the bottom of our brand new website, or by heading to flightcast.audio/shop to buy your t-shirt, hat, mug, or iPhone case. To cover the fine print, FlightCast is not affiliated with Infinite Flight or Flying Development Studio. I'm Jason Rosewell. Thanks for listening, and happy landings. All right, guys. That's it. It's a
Sweet.
wrap.
That's
Great.
twice in a row you've made it all the way through.
No, it's not twice in a row.
No, not twice in a row.
No.
Oh, last time wasn't a go.
No.
No. I think the past couple of times he's kind of had to struggle a little bit.
Well, the last two I've been here, he's done his job. So.
Well, yeah, 6 months ago he did all right.
guys.
But,
Okay.
oh,
Good.
I would like to say while Philippe is here, Jason, that I have actually got him using dumb now.
No
I
way.
am so proud. Yes.
The French
Yeah.
guy is saying dumb.
It's
He says-
only when I quote Mark.
He said dumb and then he'll put in parentheses Mark, and then he'll put that little copyright icon next to it.
Well, watch yourself, man, because before you know it, you'll be working into conversation and your wife will be mad at you.
Or if you really don't watch it, you'll be on Copenhagen and Mountain Dew.
Oh, man.
Is that Joe?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, it's
Oh
Joe.
yeah. It didn't say hi.
Yeah,
So I
hey.
think it's the first time. I mean, besides hearing you on the podcast, I think it's the first time I.
Oh, isn't that nice? Joe's first words to you were, "Is it a blimp?"
It's our first date.
Yeah.
Joe says, "Is it a blimp?"
Is it a blimp?
Because first impressions are the most important, you know.
Was it like a?
Like, oh, man, I don't want to go get shot.
Hey, Philippe, how's it going?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Welcome to the circus, Philippe.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, the first thing you heard was an F-bomb. Okay, so Philippe, any questions before we get rolling?
That was a good pun.
Fun not intended. Wow, good one, Jay.
Get a little closer.